Hello viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. Today we're doing September's issue of Retro Gaming News and Editions. It's been a really busy month news-wise again. This is the point of the year, seems to be quite a busy time for releasing new hardware and software as well. But without further ado, we're going to take you through the news. So the first two pieces of news regard one company in specific, so that is 8BitDo. A big fan of 8BitDo. I absolutely love their Mega Drive wireless controllers and other accessories that they've released in the past, but they've recently announced pre-orders for a N64 Hall effect joystick. So this is essentially what you would see on a sort of a high-end arcade style joystick, and this is going to be an in-place mod for the N64 controller. So I have actually ordered one of these, and they are available for $20 just on their own. 8BitDo are also doing like a mod kit where you can turn an OEM controller into like a Bluetooth controller for, say, your Switch. But I don't believe in sort of butchering my controller to that extent, because it actually removes the whole wired compatibility of it and makes it fully wireless. Which, if that's your thing, then that's fine. I think that's available for $50 instead of the $20 you would just pay for the joystick. But yeah, really excited to get that joystick soon. It's actually been dispatched very recently, so I hope to do a video on it very soon. I'll leave a link for that down in the description for ordering. I believe the pre-orders now go into sort of late September, but they are sort of every month. There never seems to be stock issues with 8BitDo, which is really nice to see. You don't really see it with other companies. And rather weirdly, RetroBit have actually released this same sort of Hall effect N64 controller joystick for pre-order as well, and that comes out in November, so you can sort of pick it. I think they are going to be basically the same product, but yeah, you can choose which company you prefer, obviously. So the next piece of news is by 8BitDo as well, and this regards a controller receiver. So this is essentially like a memory card style size thing for your PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. So I thought this was really interesting, the fact that you can connect any Bluetooth controller to your PS1 or 2, including things like the PlayStation 4 controller or the DualShock 4 and PlayStation 5 controller and Nintendo Switch Pro and such. So I think I'm actually verging on actually going for that solution instead of using my Retro Fighters Defender controller for that, just because an official Sony controller just feels right to use on a Sony console, and the quality is obviously a bit higher than you would get from Retro Fighters. So these new controller receivers are priced at $24.99, so I think they were about £21 UK converted, and weirdly they had free delivery sort of on top of that, so they're really inexpensive, to be honest. And if you've got PS4 controllers lying around, which I know I do, then it's a really good solution to have wireless controllers on your PS1 and your PS2. So next piece of news is definitely for sort of the high rollers. So RetroTink, who make the 5X upscaler that I use for all my old consoles into my modern display, they've recently announced a 4K upscaler. So it's basically just called the RetroTink 4K. It's going to be priced at around $1,000. This is a very expensive product. It's basically for people who really want that amount of upscaling to 4K. To me, I'm not really going to see a massive difference really for upscaling things like the Mega Drive and the PlayStation 2 from 1080p to 4K. I'm perfectly happy with my 5X, and obviously it comes in at a much lower price point of around $300 rather than $1,000. So it was interesting to see a product release like this. It has tons of inputs and outputs and so many options. I'm sure people who utilize it for more than just gaming would probably be more inclined to buy this sort of thing, but as I mentioned, it is extremely expensive and likely to release sort of towards the end of this year. So the next piece of news is for Dreamcast fans. So there's a new Retro Fighters wireless controller, that's called the Striker DC Wireless. They've made these in the past just wired for the Dreamcast, and they've had rave reviews as sort of one of the best third-party controllers you can buy for the Dreamcast. So you know the wireless one's going to be good. Retro Fighters are always good quality in my opinion. Not as good quality as sort of the OEM controllers, but if you want wireless, then they're definitely a good place to go. So Striker DC Wireless is available for pre-order now, and it comes out in mid-November. I think it's priced around $50 or maybe $45. I'll leave a link for that down in the description direct, and you can pre-order now. So final piece of news is regarding Atari. So Atari have, in the last few years, they've been sort of toying around with new consoles like the VCS, which was quite a sort of a miss, to be honest, by them. But they've recently announced a 2600 Plus. So this is basically a mini 2600, but the caveat or pro of it is that you can insert your original 2600 and 7800 cartridges into it. So this console is priced at $130. It's currently sort of only available for pre-order for Americans, but I believe it's going to be coming to Europe through other distributors as well, to be released in November this year. So this is really interesting to see. Obviously it's going to be a software emulation product at that price point. There's no FPGA going on, so for me it's not really going to be as good as, say, my Analogue Pocket with my arcade sticks from a playability point of view, but it's still going to have really good compatibility with all the cartridges. I believe they've achieved 99% compatibility with the cartridges via software emulation, so that's really cool to see. But a link for that will be down in the description, and I'll be interested to see, to hear even from people who order this product. Any massive Atari fan is definitely going to order this kind of thing, and it's nice to see that it's quite a low price point as well compared to their older sort of renditions of the 2600 remakes. So we'll get into some additions for this episode. It's been a fairly quiet month, to be honest. I've only picked up sort of 3 things, or 2 myself and 1 from the wife. Those who follow my Instagram will probably know what a couple of those are. So this was an absolute bargain at work, and this is a PlayStation 3 Super Slim. So the Super Slim was the last PS3 to be released, but someone at work was selling it for £20, and he said it's basically hardly ever been used, unboxed, but with a new controller, or basically new controller. It felt very much new to me. It didn't come with a hard drive plate there, but I was able to order one on eBay that was 3D printed to a very high quality. You wouldn't even know the difference, and that was £7, I think. So all in all, PS3 Super Slim for £27, which I think is an absolute bargain. Came with a power supply and everything else, so I was really impressed with that. From a reliability point of view, the PS3 Super Slim is actually the one to get. It uses less power, so there's less heat generated inside the console. It does feel sort of quite cheap, and it has got this sort of sliding lid rather than an electronic sort of disc input output. But yeah, I'm really enjoying playing it, and as you might have seen in there, I'm currently playing Blur on it. About 60% of the way through of that on hard mode at the moment, so I'm really enjoying playing it. So a fantastic pickup for that price. So next up, you may have seen that I've been waiting for absolutely ages and very excited to get it, and that is the Analogue Pocket dock. So what this enables me to do with the Analogue Pocket is to obviously dock it into like a Switch style thing where it goes into your HDMI TV. And this has FPGA technology inside it as well as the actual pocket, and this will allow you to FPGA, I want to say emulation, but it's not really emulation, so you can play your old arcade titles in FPGA, which is sort of like hardware ghosting more than anything, so it feels and plays almost like an original arcade. I've been using my 8-bit arcade sticks with them, and it's been honestly like being at the arcade when we're playing Street Fighter 2. It's been incredible. This was priced at $99, but I ordered it back in February, and it obviously didn't come in until August, so that is a 6-month wait. Analogue are notorious for holding onto your money and then sort of bulk dispatching everything at one time. So if you are keen to get this sort of thing, then sort of order it now, and you'll probably forget about it, but then it will surprise you when it comes. But I'm absolutely loving this product. Definitely much easier to use than, say, the Mr. project. That is just a bit more complicated to get into, but this is obviously very simple to get into, and there's a very good community as well around it, so that I'm really enjoying sort of being a part of that. So final pickup is a Daily Retro first. To be honest, it's my t-shirt which I have on, which I'm not going to stand up just to put the whole thing in, but it's a promo t-shirt from the original Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, made in 2011. This was a sort of sealed product actually from America, from when the game was sort of being promoted, and there was just a few on eBay. It weren't massively expensive, but I sort of pointed the wife in its general direction a few months back, and I sort of forgot about it. And then for our 6th year since we met anniversary, she's gone and ordered me this, which I'm absolutely chuffed with. And yeah, it's my favourite RPG of all time, so I'm always happy to add new things to the collection regarding it. You obviously saw my massive poster I got very recently that was signed by all of the key figures that made that game. So really chuffed with this t-shirt. So that's all for this episode in regards to pickups, guys. Hope you've enjoyed listening to my sort of rambles as I go through everything as usual. But it's been a fairly sort of quiet month on the gaming front, but next month should be a bit more interesting. So we've got the Black Country Games Fair, the second one, coming up in mid-September. I'll leave a link for that down in the description again, just so you can order early bird tickets. Those are only £2. But Dana always puts on an amazing event for that event that I went to earlier this year. Highly recommend it if you've not been to it before. So kind of to be expected future videos from myself. So I'll be doing an installation video of that sort of new N64 joystick. I hope to be doing sort of an in-depth sort of hardware installation of that. And also I'm going to be doing a FPGA sort of guide for the Analogue Pocket docked. I'm really enjoying this product. It is incredibly easy to sort of set up and get going. But it is one of my sort of favourite products at the moment, so I'm really enthused to put out sort of a detailed guide for people out there as to how you can get going playing these FPGA titles on your TV. I'm absolutely loving it. It hasn't got a ton of arcade titles on there at the moment, not compared to, say, the Mr. Project, but it is slowly increasing, and it's got classics that I'm really enjoying playing, like Galaga and Dig Dug and Donkey Kong and Street Fighter 2 obviously. I've done a short video recently which was about the 8-bit arcade sticks with it, and it actually has a sort of a wake function, a bit like pixie booting a computer, where you send a packet to it over the network and it boots up. But this is obviously like a wireless thing, so it's nice to have so many features with such a compact product. So yeah, really enjoying my gaming on that side of things at the moment. But hope to see lots of you at Black Country Games Fair, and if not, we'll see you very soon for another video. Cheers.